Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating United Nations Day on 24th October every year, and this year, 2025, marks the UN's 80th anniversary. The United Nations, a deity building our future together. The United Nations is the most universal international organization, making it truly global in reach. By promoting human rights and social progress, including access to healthcare and education, the United Nations has improved the lives of people around the world, creating better living standards for all. 80 years after its founding, the United Nations faces new challenges. The organization is working on ways to adapt and strengthen itself. So, with the Agenda 2030, the Pact for the Future, and with the UN80 initiative, the UN is looking to renew the foundation of international cooperation and to ensure that it can deliver for people everywhere. So, a symbol of hope for global unity, United Nations Day on 24th October marks the anniversary of the entry into force in 1945 of the UN Charter. So, with the ratification of this founding document by the majority of its signatories, including the 5 permanent members of the Security Council, the United Nations officially came into being. There is no other global organization with the legitimacy, convening power, and normative impact of United Nations. No other global organization gives hope to so many people for a better world and can deliver the future we want. Today, the urgency for all countries to come together to fulfill the promise of the nations united has rarely been greater. UN Day, celebrated every year, offers the opportunity to amplify our common agenda and reaffirm the purposes and principles of UN Charter that have guided us for past 80 years. This week is also commemorated as Disarmament Week from 24th to 30th October, as Disarmament Week seeks to promote awareness and better understanding of disarmament issues and their cross-cutting importance. Starting on 24th October, the anniversary of the founding of the United Nations, the week-long annual observance was first called for it and final document of the General Assembly's 1978 Special Season on Disarmament Resolution S10 by 2. In 1995, the General Assembly invited governments as well as NGOs to continue taking an active part in Disarmament Week, Resolution 50 by 72B, 12 December 1995, in order to promote a better understanding among the public of disarmament issues. Throughout the history, countries have pursued disarmament to build a safer, more secure world and to protect people from harm. Since the foundation of the United Nations, disarmament and arms could have played a critical role in preventing and ending crisis and armed conflict. Heightened tensions and dangers are better resolved through serious political dialogue and negotiation and not by more arms. Weapons of mass destruction, in particular nuclear weapons, continue to be of primary concern owing to their destructive power and threat they pose to humanity. The excessive accumulation and illicit trade is conventional weapon, jeopardize international peace and security and sustainable development. While the use of heavy conventional weapons in populated areas is seriously endangering civilians, new and emerging weapons technologies such as autonomous weapons impaired global security and have received increasingly attention from the international community in recent years. So measures for disarmament are pursued for many reasons, including to maintain international peace and security, uphold the principles of humanity, protect civilians, protect sustainable development, foster confidence and trust among states, and prevent and end armed conflict. Disarmament and arms control measures help ensure international and human security in the 21st century, and therefore must be an integral part of a credible and effective collective security system. The United Nations continue to celebrate the efforts and involvement of a range of actors, contributing to a safer, more peaceful, common future through disarmament, arms control, and non proliferation efforts. In a world threatened by weapons of mass destruction, conventional arms, and emerging cyber warfare, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres presented a new agenda for disarmament to save humanity, save lives, and secure our common future. So the Office for Disarmament Affairs supports multilateral efforts aimed at achieving the ultimate goal of general and complete disarmament under strict and effective international control. The office also works to address the humanitarian impact of major conventional weapons and emerging weapon technologies such as autonomous weapons, as these issues have received increased attention from international community. The UN and the nuclear age were born almost simultaneously. The horror of the Second World War culminating in the nuclear blast at Hiroshima and Nagasaki brought home the need to address the nuclear issue. By its first resolution, the General Assembly established the UN Atomic Energy Commission to deal with the problems raised by the discovery of atomic energy, and a landmark address by United States President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1953, Atoms for Peace, led to the establishment in 1957 of the International Atomic Energy, IAEA. today is also commemorated as World Development Information Day on 24th October every year. Mobilization of public opinion and esteem an essential part of the work on development consists of the mobilization of public opinion in both developing and developed countries in support of set objectives and policies. Governments of the more advanced countries must continue and intensify their endeavors to deepen public understanding of the interdependent nature of development efforts and to need to assist the developing countries in accelerating their economic and social progress. Similarly, governments of developing countries must continue to make people at all levels aware of the benefits and sacrifices involved and to enlist their full participation in achieving and development goals and objectives. The mobilization of public opinion has to be the responsibility mainly of national bodies. Governments may give consideration to the establishment of new national bodies or to give strengthening the existing ones designed to mobilize public opinion, all of a long-term measure to give increasing development orientation to the educated curricula. Considering the leadership can make a significant contribution to the mobilization of public opinion, the formulation of concrete aims by the competent authorities is indispensable. The role of Organization of the United Nations has been to assist the various national information media, in particular by supplying adequate basic information from which these media may draw both substance and inspiration for their work. So in 1972, the General Assembly established World Development Information Day to draw the attention of the world to development problems and the need to strengthen international cooperation to solve Resolution 3038. The Assembly decided that the day for the day should coincide with United Nations Day, 24th October, which was also the date of adoption in 1970 of the International Development Strategy for the second United Nations Development Decade. The Assembly deemed that improving the dissemination of information and the mobilization of public opinion, particularly among young people, would lead to a greater awareness of problems of development, thus promoting efforts in the sphere of international cooperation of development. So the Assembly deemed that improving the dissemination of information and the mobilization of public opinion, particularly among young people, would lead to greater awareness of the problems of development, thus promoting efforts in the spheres of international cooperation for development. So since the 1970s, governments dedicated themselves to the fundamental objective enshrined in the Charter of the United Nations to create conditions of stability and well-being and to ensure a minimum standard of living consistent with human dignity through economic and social progress and development. The launch of the first United Nations Development Decade in 1961 marked a major and wide endeavor to give concrete substance to that solemn pledge. Since then, attempts have contributed to adopt measures for that purpose. Unfortunately, however, the standard of living for millions of people in this world is still pitifully low. There are often still undernourished, uneducated, unemployed, and waiting in many basic communities. Nonetheless, the current frustrations and disappointments must not be allowed to cloud the vision or stand in the way of development of objectives. So the success of international development activities depend in large measure on improvement in the general international situation that requires concrete progress, particularly in the promotion of equal political, economical, social, and cultural rights for all members of society. The ultimate objectives of development must be The ultimate objective of development must be to bring about sustained improvement in the well-being of the individual and to bestow benefits on all. If undue privilege, extreme of wealth and social injustice persists, then development fails in its essential purpose. The international community must rise to the challenge of the present age of unprecedented opportunities offered by science and technological advances, such that they may be equitably shared by all countries. In turn, may contribute to the accelerated economic development taught throughout the world. So developing countries must continue to increase their expenditure on research and development. They must also continue their concerned efforts with appropriate assistance from rest of the world in expanding their capacity to apply science and technology for development so as to enable the technological gap to their significantly reduced. Fully international cooperation must be extended for the establishment, strengthening, and the promotion of scientific research and technological activities, which have a bearing on the expansion and modernization of economies. So, particular attention must be developed to fostering technology suitable for each country, and concerned research efforts should be made in relation to selected problems, the solutions to which can have a catalytic effects in accelerating development. So, the new solutions to development challenges. So the information and communication technologies have the potential to provide new solutions to development challenges, particularly in the context of globalization, and can foster economic growth, competitiveness, access to information and knowledge, poverty, eradication, and social inclusion that will help to expedite the integration of all countries, especially developing countries, in particular the least development countries, into the global economy. Furthermore, it is a well established fact that the information and communications technologies present now opportunities and challenges, and that there is a pressing need to address the major impediments that developing countries face in accessing new technologies, such as insufficient resources, infrastructure, education, capacity, investment, and connectivity, and issues related to technology ownership, standards, and flows. In this regard, we call upon stakeholders to provide adequate resources, enhance capacity building, and technology transfer on mutually agreed terms to developing countries. However, there are concerns regarding the digital divide in access to information and communications technology, tools, and broadband connectivity between countries at different levels of development, which affects many economically and socially relevant applications in areas such as government business, health, and education, further expressed concern with regard to the special challenges faced in the area of broadband connecting by developing countries, including the least developed countries, small island developing states, and landlocked developing countries. Today, this week is also commemorated as Global Media and Information Literacy Week, 24th to 31st October, with the theme Minds over AI, ML in Digital Spaces. The artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming the way information is produced, distributed, and consumed in digital spaces. As AI technologies become more integrated into everyday communication, shaping news, feed search results, and even content creation, the need for strong media and information literacy has become increasingly urgent. ML equips individuals with the critical thinking skills necessary to recognize, evaluate, and responsibly interact and AI-generated content. It empowers people to question sources, understand algorithmic influence, and make informed decisions in a digital environment dominated by automated systems. Emphasizing minds over AI, the focus is ensuring that human judgment, ethics, and critical awareness guide to use and interpretation of AI in our media landscapes. So when we look at the background, media and information literacy for the public good, in 2021, the UN General Assembly decided to commemorate media and information literacy. MLV cited the need for the dissemination of factual, timely targeted, clear, accessible, multilingual, and science-based information. The resolution recognizes that the substantial digital divide and data inequalities that exist among different countries and within them can be addressed in part by improving people's competence to seek and receive impart information to digital realm. In the current ecosystem of complex and sometimes contradictory message and meanings, it's hard to conceive of the public good being advanced. If the public is disempowered in the face of opportunities and threats, each individual needs to be equipped with media and information literacy competencies to understand the stakes and to contribute to the benefit from information and communication opportunities. Global Media and Information Literacy Week, commemorated annually, is a major occasion for stakeholders to review and celebrate the progress achieved towards media and information literacy for all. So our brains depend on information to work optimally. The quality of information we engage with largely determine our perceptions, beliefs, and attitudes. It could be information from other persons, the media, libraries, archives, museums, publishers, or other information providers, including those on the internet. People across the world are witnessing a dramatic increase in access to information and communication, while some people are starved for information. Others are flooded with print, broadcast, and digital content, media, and information literacy. MIL provides answers to the questions that we all ask ourselves at some point. So, how we can access, search, critically assess, use, and contribute wisely, both online and offline. So, what are our efforts? What are our rights online and offline? And what are ethical issues surrounding the access and use of information? And how we can engage with media and information, communication technologies, ICT, to promote equally intercultural and interreligious dialogue, peace, freedom of expression, and access to information. Through capacity building resources such as curricular development policy guidelines and articulation and assessment framework, UNESCO supports and development to the development of ML competencies among people. The Youth Hackathon, a key initiative of UNESCO's Global Media and Information Literacy, ML Week, empowers young people to address pressing digital challenges such as AI, misinformation, hate speech, and threats to the information integrity, building on the success of 2024 edition. The 2025 hackathon invites you worldwide to collaborate and innovate under the theme Youth Leading in the Way Building ML Solutions for Impact. Participants will receive expert mentioning and winning teams will have opportunity to present their projects at the Global ML Week conference in Cartagena, Colombia. So social media is a powerful tool to help people develop better ML. ML clicks is a way for people to acquire ML competencies in their normal day-to-day use of internet and social media and to engage in peer education and in an atmosphere of browsing, playing, connecting, sharing, and socializing. So ML Clicks is a way for people to acquire media and information literacy competencies in their normal day-to-day life and use of internet and social media, and to engage in peer education in the atmosphere of browsing, playing, connecting, sharing, and socializing. ML Clicks rationale, social media is a powerful tool to help people develop better media and information literacy. And many people are using social media to access information and media. And this is especially so far youth who spend much time on different networks. Therefore, social media can be used to train people in their normal social content to be more ML competent. Social media can also deliver compelling information to raise awareness about the importance of media and information literacy to all levels of society. The ML Clicks framework takes a collaborative approach between the Global Alliance for Partnerships on Media and Information Literacy, in short known as GAP-MIL, current partner organizations, future partner organizations, and other MIL community actors. In addition to MIL competency training and awareness raising, MIL Clicks will strive to increase likelihood of media reporting about MIL, engage with donors for MIL education, introduce new public policy promoting MIL, and grow the number of partner organizations that are part of the movement for online literacy. ML Clicks target policymakers, ML experts, teachers without ML expertise, development agencies, private sector organizations, and general public. ML Click social media initiative is carried out globally and hence in multiple languages. The current available language versions are English, Portuguese, and Serbian. So UNESCO ML Click social media innovation is a way for people to acquire media and information competencies. The acronym ML Click stands for the Media Information Literacy, Critical Thinking, Creativity, Literacy, Intercultural, Citizenship, Knowledge, and Sustainability. The objectives of this social media strategy are to use social media, expose people to become more media and information literate, and to raise awareness about the importance of media and information literacy. This week is also commemorated as Bat Appreciation Week from October 24 to 31, 2025, celebrated annually in October and takes place from October 24 to 31st this year. This is a week-long celebration that focuses on different bat causes, bat education, conservation, and other amazing bat facts. The bat is one of the oldest living mammals on this earth, and with a lineage that stretches back to more than 50 million years. There are about 900 species of bats on Earth, and all of which belong to Chiropetra family. For ages, bats have been portrayed as a negative characteristics. Although these creatures have been in existence for a long time, they haven't gained many fans over the years. This day debunks myths and eradicates the lies to poverty, the bat as an influential component of ecosystem. So the term bat is derived from the Latin word blatta. Scientists state that bats, the early ancestors of the bat family, must have been around 50 million years ago. And some theories suggest that they might have evolved from the rodents family and gained the ability to fly over millions of years. From flying foxes and trident bats to horse bats, fruit bats, and bulldog bats, there are about 900 species of bats currently on Earth. Bats have a significant influence on society and cultures throughout the history. In medieval times, bats were seen as a symbol of darkness and witchcraft. People often associate bats with the feelings of darkness and foreboding. Bats were a symbol of death for Aztecs. However, in China, bats were seen as a symbol of good fortune. Ever since the time moves comes into existence, bats have been portrayed as negative elements. Movies and TV shows would depict bats flying around dilapidated building ruins, or old castles. The stories of vampires became popular, and thus the character of Dracula was born. Bats also have been accused of being carriers of virus and spreading illness. Many people do not know that bats play an important role in the food chain and contribute greatly to the healthier ecosystem. Bats eat many insects, including cotton, earworms, and cotton bollworms, thereby helping farmers keep their crops protected. Yet humans have executed bats, causing many bat species to become endangered. Bat Conservation International was formed in 1982 by biologist Merlin David Tuttle to counter extinction possibilities and preserve ecosystems. This non-profit organization conducts research and workshops and to publish books for the protection and conservation of bats. The group created Bat Appreciation Week to further spread awareness of the importance of bats within the ecosystem. So this week is also commemorated as Global Media and Information Literacy Week, observed from October 24th to 31st every year. This year's Global Media and Information Literacy Week will be hosted by Nigeria. This day was launched in 2012 by UNESCO with the support of UNESCO UNOSC, Media Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue University Network and the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance. It is a huge opportunity for stakeholders to reflect on and celebrate progress achieving media and information literacy for all. This week is also commemorated as Disarmament Week on October 24th to 30 each year and brings to the forefront an important agenda of the United Nations to bring about the world peace. At its core, the principle of disarmament suggests getting rid of all weapons and arms which contribute to warfare and mass destruction. The idea is on international community to get rid of all arms which are unnecessary for policing their own countries in the interest of global security and becoming a reality. Imagine a world where countries don't spend millions stockpiling their armories and instead utilize those funds and resources towards their own economic development and progress. In the words of immortal John Lennon, imagine all the people living in life in peace. You may say we are all dreamers, but with Disarmament Week, perhaps we are much closer to the goal. Today is also commemorated as Global Campaign Day internationally. Celebrated every year on the fourth Friday in October, and this year it falls on October 24th. Today is also commemorated as Hawke's Bay Anniversary Day. In New Zealand, it is traditional for Hawke's Bay Anniversary to be celebrated on the Friday before Labor Day, and this year it will be celebrated on October 24th. A new province, Hawke's Bay, was established on November 1st, 1858, when the territory that had previously been part of Auckland Province and was separated from the capital, Wellington. In 1876, the province of Hawke's Bay was disbanded and the territory around Hawke's Bay on the eastern coast of New Zealand's North Island became known as Hawke's Bay District. Despite this, the inhabitants of the former province region observe Hawke's Bay Anniversary Day as public holiday and every year. Today is also commemorated as National Bologna Day in US. Bring down your brown bag lunches to work because it's National Bologna Day, everyone's favorite processed luncheon, especially this is though it is for meat, but we can go meatless, is named which is named after Italian city of the same name, but down there call it mortadella, which is a sausage with bits of lard and peppercorns on it. Today is also commemorated as National Food Day in US, celebrated on October 24th each year. This day, celebrated for the first time in 1975, was created by the Center for Science and Public Interest, CSPI, and was supposed to be a similar on Earth Day. The day toasts nutritious and healthy food and focuses on educating people on healthy eating, good farming methods, and safe food production. It also reminds us of the strides we have made in living more healthy lives and growing food in viable and responsible ways. In 1971, a microbiologist, a meteorologist, a chemist, and two scientists from Ralph Nader Center for the Study of Responsive Law founded the Center for Science in Public Interest, CSPI, was formed as a non-profit organization that monitored food safety standards and advocated for safer foods. In the early days, CSPI focused on environmental protection and renewable sources of energy. Later on, when two of the founders left the organization, it turned its focus to food and alcohol safety. Over the years, CSPI changed the dynamics of nutrition and food safety worldwide. It encouraged the healthy foods in restaurants, made sure that the restaurants followed guidelines issued by the Food and Drug Administration. CSPI played a major role in bringing up the matter of high amounts of saturated fats found in popcorn in cinemas. It was also the organization that led to the campaign against trans fats found in fast food. Today is also commemorated as National Jamaican Jerk Day, which is celebrated every year on October 24th to set aside to celebrate jerky. The unique Jamaican way of seasoning and grilling food celebrated across the country. The day is not about the food and delicious seasoning alone. It is much about Jamaican culture, music, dancing, and community, as it is also about food. Today is also commemorated as National Kangaroo Awareness Day in Australia. They hop, kick near the pups in small pouches and make us all go away every time, which is why National Kangaroo Awareness Day is observed every year on October 24th. On this day, awareness about marsupial plight, which is hunted and murdered, is disturbingly huge numbers across Australia, and its offspring are created. People are encouraged to honor this beautiful creature by protecting and saving as many as kangaroos and their young as possible. Today is also commemorated as National Pharmacy Buyer Day in US on October 24, held Friday in the last full week of October, on October 24th this year, to honor the people who manage the changing inventory of pharmacies across the US. Since we, like everyone, prefer our pharmacy shelves stocked with the right drugs at all times, we love the idea of celebrating National Pharmacy Buyer Day. Today is also commemorated as National Senior UTI Awareness Day in US. So National Senior UTI Awareness Day is observed every year on October 24th throughout the country. This day is set aside to raise awareness about UTIs among elderly patients, especially elderly women who suffer from UTIs but find diagnosis difficult. UTI is so UTIs are fairly common and easily addressed infection, but diagnosis becomes difficult for elderly patients. Elderly people may be suffering from incontinence, dementia, and several other conditions that affect their urinary tract, which makes it difficult to identify whether they are suffering from UTIs or not, especially since they don't exhibit many common symptoms. Today is also commemorated as Swan Festival on October 24th in UK, celebrated annually during the third full week of October in Cardiff, Wales. So this year it will be separated from October 24th to 26th. It's an annual music festival organized by BBC Radio. It was started by DJ Howe Stephens, the youngest ever presenter on BBC Radio 1, and the Cardiff-based promoter John Roston. Cardiff hosts several music festivals throughout the year. Today is also commemorated as World Development Information Day on October 24th. We are here to show you how you can observe this day in an amazing way. It has been more than 50 years, 49 plus 50 years since it was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly that October would be observed as World Development Information. This day was created to raise awareness about development roadblocks in many nations and how to overcome them. This awareness often leads to younger people coming up with clever, inexpensive ideas to solve development problems. In 1964, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, was established. The motto behind establishing this organization was to deal with development and trade issues in various countries. UNCTAD also dealt with transport, finance, and technology. The main reason UNCTAD was developed was their concerns over international markets, multinational cooperation, and the difference between developed nations and other nations. The UNCTAD was developed so that countries would have a platform to discuss problems regarding economic development and the other problems. It was observed that existing institutions like World Trade Organization and the International Monetary Fund were not adequate to solve some developmental issues in developing countries. In 1972, UNCTAD passed a resolution for the creation of World Development Information Day to raise awareness about development and trade issues all over the world. October 24th was the date decided for World Development Information Day, as it coincides with United Nations Day, as development is one of the major works of the United Nations. So this interpretation of the meaning of the day varies. The example recently, the day has been viewed as a day to find solutions to trade and development issues using modern technology, telephones, and the internet. Hence, more young people are encouraged to further work in this sector. Today is also commemorated as World Polio Day on October 24th. Internationally observed on October 24th, this day commemorates global efforts towards a polio-free future, as well as the selfless sacrifices of those working on the front line of the battle to eradicate polio from every corner of the world. Polio is contagious due to the ease with which the polio virus spreads. Although the virus is now exceedingly rare because of the modern interventions, it can also impair the brain regions that govern respiration, resulting in death. Polio, which has no recognized therapy, can only be avoided through vaccination. Today is also commemorated as World Tribe Day. As we are going to help you to celebrate this day, it is the best way possible. Tripe is lining of the stomach of animals like cattle, sheep, or pigs. But though this is, not to encourage any meat consumption, but to create awareness that we can, move to alternative sustainable food practices because of climate change and various other aspects. Today is also commemorated as Zambia Independence Day on Zambia. It is celebrated on October 24th each year. If October 24th falls on Sunday, the following Monday will be considered a public holiday. So this day indicates independence from United Kingdom on this day in 1964 and is the national holiday of Zambia. It's a great holiday for all inhabitants of Zambia and the people who support it. The path to independence was not easy for Zambians. There were extraordinary obstacles and different situations that needed to be resolved before the country gained independent status. The path to independence was not easy for Zambians. There were extraordinary obstacles and difficult situations that needed to be resolved before the country gained independent status. Because Zambia had no access to the sea, European settlers did not visit it until the end of the 19th century. In 1888, Cecil Rhodes, leader of the British South African Company, signed a treaty with the supreme leader of the vineyard and received mineral rights in the region. The suppression of tribal offsprings led to the complete control of the region by the British. This land became known as Northwestern Rhodesia. So after the end of World War II, the process of decolonization began in Africa in 1953. Great Britain decided to form the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland, which consisted of Northern Rhodesia, now Zambia, Southern Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, and Nyasaland, now Malawi. The people of Northern Rhodesia strongly opposed this decision and took a long stand against the establishment of this federation. The federation led to the emergencies of two nationalist parties, and general strikes began from 1960 to 1961 as a result of strong protest by the forces of Northern Rhodesia. And federation was finally dispersed in December 1963. In January 1964, the country held general elections, and President Kenneth Kaunda took office 10 months later on October 24, 1964. The president renamed the country the Republic of Zambia. The Republic of Zambia celebrates in Independence Day with great enthusiasm, and it is an opportunity to honor Zambia's Convention of Solidarity and Peace reflected in the slogan. One Zambia, one nation, and reaffirm its commitment to a democratic future that guarantees respect for individual freedom and good governance. So with this, we shall end today's commemoration. Thank you everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before leaving the platform. So see you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link. Take care. Good night.